The creature under the bed. It was late at night, and Emily, a 10-year-old girl, lay in her bed, trying to fall asleep. The room was dark, the only light coming from the faint glow of the street lamp outside her window. She pulled her blanket up tightly to her chin, trying to ward off the cold. The house was quiet, almost too quiet. The kind of silence that seemed to press against her ears, making every little creak of the old wooden floorboards sound 10 times louder. But despite the stillness, she couldn't sleep, not tonight. She kept tossing and turning, her eyes darting around the room, watching the shadows play on the walls. They looked strange, like they were shifting, moving with a life of their own. Emily squeezed her eyes shut and turned over, trying to convince herself it was nothing, just the shadows from the trees outside. Still, there was something unsettling about the room tonight. She felt it deep in her chest, a gnawing unease that she couldn't shake. She thought about the stories her older brother, Max, used to tell her. Silly tales about creatures hiding under the bed, lurking in dark corners, waiting for the right moment to pounce. She had laughed them off, of course. They were just stories, made up to scare her. But now, lying in the darkness, she wasn't so sure. There was a sound, a soft scrape. It was faint at first, like something shifting in the dark. She froze, listening. It came again, this time a little louder, like something moving slowly, deliberately. She could feel her heart start to race and her breath caught in her throat. Her eyes shot to the side of her bed. She could just make out the shadow beneath it. The same shadow that had been there for years. She had always thought it was just the shadow of the bed frame, the way the light from the street lamp cast strange shapes on the floor. But tonight, it looked different, darker, deeper, almost as if something was hiding under there. Emily swallowed hard. She had heard her parents say that there was nothing to fear in the dark, that monsters weren't real. But now, in the silence of her room, she wasn't so sure. She slowly reached down to the edge of the bed, her hand trembling. She pulled the blanket up around her shoulders, hoping to feel safer, to protect herself from whatever might be lurking in the shadows. The scraping noise came again, louder this time, like claws against wood. Emily's heart pounded in her chest. She pulled her knees up to her chin, her eyes never leaving the edge of the bed. The air felt colder now, thick with the sense of something watching her, something waiting. The scraping stopped. She held her breath, waiting, trying to listen for any sign of movement. Then, without warning, the shadow under the bed shifted. Something long, dark, and twisted emerged from the darkness. It was barely visible, but Emily could see enough then. Clawed hands gripping the floor, long fingers stretching out, scratching at the wood. Her stomach lurched, and a cold wave of terror washed over her. She wanted to scream, but the words stuck in her throat. The creature beneath her bed wasn't a figment of her imagination. It was real, and it was coming closer. She could hear its breathing now, slow and deliberate, like it was savoring the fear in her chest. It crept closer, inch by inch. Its shadow stretched across the floor, growing larger, darker. The room seemed to shrink around her, the walls pressing in as though the space itself was closing in on her. The creature let out a soft, guttural growl, a sound that made Emily's blood run cold. She couldn't move, couldn't tear her eyes away from the creature's form. It had the body of something animal-like, hunched and twisted, but its face was the worst part. It was a contorted, gaping maw, filled with jagged teeth and hollow eyes that seemed to pierce through the darkness. It was smiling, grinning, as if it could sense her fear, as if it fed off it. Emily squeezed her eyes shut, praying that when she opened them again, it would be gone. But when she opened them, the creature was still there, now so close she could almost feel its hot breath on her skin. She forced herself to move, to act. She had to do something. Her hand reached out, trembling, toward the light switch on the wall. Her fingers brushed the cool metal, but before she could flip it on, the creature moved. It lunged, its claws scraping against the floor as it shot out from under the bed. With a scream, Emily pulled her legs into her chest, her entire body shaking with fear. The creature paused, its head cocking to one side, its hollow eyes studying her. Then, just as quickly as it had come, it slid back under the bed, disappearing into the darkness from which it had emerged. For a long time, Emily lay there, frozen, staring at the space beneath her bed. The silence returned, but it was different, now charged with an unspoken threat. She didn't move, didn't even dare to breathe too loudly. When the morning light finally crept into the room, Emily dared to look under the bed. There was nothing there, no creature, no shadow, just the floor as it had always been. She told herself it had all been a nightmare, a figment of her imagination. But deep down she knew the creature was still there, hiding, waiting, and it would be back. And next time it wouldn't wait until she was asleep.